Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Arsenal player set to undergo medical with the Premier League rival today, with deal now agreed. Matt Turner is closing in on sealing his Arsenal exit, with the goalkeeper set to undergo a medical with Nottingham Forest today. That's according to David Ornstein and The Athletic, who suggest that Steve Cooper's men have reached an agreement to sign the USA international ahead of the new Premier League season. Matt Turner's departure from the Emirates has been on the cards for a week now. It was a surprise when Arsenal were once again linked with David Raya at the end of July, but it seems that a move to the Emirates is edging closer, and with that, Turner has now got the green light to leave Arsenal after a year in Mikel Arteta's ranks. The 28-year-old will, however, remain in the Premier League. The Athletic reports that Turner is set to undergo a medical at the City ground today. Forest have already agreed terms with Arsenal ahead of a potential switch. The report notes that Forest would still like to sign Dean Henderson following his loan spell last year. It makes sense for all parties for Turner to move on if Raya is coming in at the Emirates. Raya has proven himself in the Premier League and looks set to contend with Aaron Ramsdale for the number one spot. Turner looked to be a very decent understudy. Mikel Arteta said at one stage that he had been phenomenal, but he will not want to drop down to being third choice after taking the number one spot for his country. Arsenal fans will hope that Turner's exit is swiftly followed by some news concerning a certain Brentford goalkeeper. Jamie O'Hara says 24-year-old Arsenal player simply wasn't good enough versus Manchester City. Jamie O'Hara has labelled Declan Rice's performance for Arsenal in yesterday's FA Community Shield as bang average. Arsenal picked up their first piece of silverware of the new campaign as they overcame Manchester City on penalties yesterday. Mikel Arteta opted for a midfield three of Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, with Kai Havertz moving further forward to replace the injured Gabriel Jesus. The Gunners looked set to fall to defeat at Wembley Stadium after Cole Palmer found the top corner with a well-taken finish in the 77th minute, but Leandro Trossard came off the bench to find a last-minute equalizer and send the clash to penalties. Rice made his competitive debut for Arsenal and was eventually replaced by Edin Ketia in the 81st minute as Arteta searched for an equalizer, and it's fair to say that O'Hara wasn't impressed with the 24-year-old display. Speaking on TalkSport, O'Hara was discussing Rice's display with an Arsenal fan and claimed he barely noticed Rice was on the pitch. He said, "He comes off late in the game. What did you make of his performance? I will be honest, I didn't even realize he was playing." The Arsenal fan argued that Rice went slightly under the radar and actually put in a good performance in midfield, but O'Hara wasn't convinced. He said, "No, I will tell you right now, I played centre mid. If you go unnoticed, it means you have been bang average. That's not good enough." Rice had a quiet afternoon as he played in a slightly more advanced role, with Partey coming back into the side, but the Englishman didn't put a foot wrong on the day, and he will need time to adjust to Arteta's system. Of course, Arsenal broke the British transfer record to sign Rice, and his displays will likely come under massive scrutiny this season. Yet, Arteta will be happy with how the former West Ham skipper has settled in so far, and it's still early days in terms of his Arsenal career. Emma Hayes issues verdict on Leandro Trossard after Arsenal win. Emma Hayes has suggested that Leandro Trossard was actually unlucky to not play more for Arsenal last season following his January move to the Emirates. Hayes was speaking on ITV after the Gunners lifted the Community Shield with a victory over Manchester City after a penalty shootout at Wembley. The game went to spot kicks after Leandro Trossard scored a stoppage time equalizer for the Gunners. Of course, it was not the best goal the Belgian will score for Mikel Arteta's side, but it was vital in helping Arsenal strike a psychological blow ahead of the new Premier League season. Trossard has proved to be an inspired signing for the Gunners. He came in after Arsenal seemed to miss out on bringing Mikhailo Mudryk to North London, and he went on to make a massive impact. Remarkably, he managed to contribute 10 assists in the Premier League. He managed to make 20 league appearances for the Gunners, but only 10 starts. And after the Community Shield win, Hayes suggested that Trossard has a big role to play for Arsenal in the coming campaign and potentially deserved to feature more last year. She said, I think Trossard is an important player for Arsenal. You see, back end of last season, he came in for Martinelli. I think maybe at times even a little unfortunate to be out of the side, so invaluable squad depth. Like so many of Arteta's squad, Trossard has the ability to play superbly in a number of roles. He shone on the left wing last season, but he was also capable of leading the line and playing up front. And with Gabriel Jesus currently sidelined, the 28-year-old could be a key player in the opening weeks of the season. He has been outstanding in pre-season, and he made an important impact once again on Sunday, scoring the goal that gave Arsenal the chance to win the game on penalties. Roy Keane criticizes a 26-year-old Arsenal player after second half mistake. Roy Keane has criticized Kieran Tierney for the defending before Manchester City broke the deadlock in the Community Shield against Arsenal on Sunday. Keane was speaking to ITV after the Gunners went on to clinch the first trophy of the season. Mikel Arteta's men beat the Premier League champions on penalties at Wembley. Arsenal needed a stoppage time equaliser to take the comeback to spot kicks after City broke the deadlock towards the end of second half. Cole Palmer produced a stunning finish to beat Aaron Ramsdale. Palmer cut inside into his left foot, and just as he was about to pull the trigger, Kieran Tierney slipped as he juggled the dilemma of whether to close down Palmer or track Kyle Walker on the overlap. It was an exquisite strike from the youngster, but Tierney, who had only just come on for Jurriën Timber, arguably made his task a little easier by struggling to put pressure on the attacker, and Keane felt that the Scotland international needed to do better. He said, Brilliant finish. I think Tierney could have done better because obviously he knows that it's a left footer. I think it's not a great defending, but a beautiful finish. It's going to be a really tough campaign for Kieran Tierney if he remains at the Emirates. He struggled for minutes last season following the arrival of Zinchenko from Manchester City, and his cause has not been helped by the performance of Timber. The Dutchman looked very comfortable in the role, and you would imagine that he is going to play there on a number of occasions in the future. Tierney should be at the peak of his powers, and having had fitness issues in the past, he will surely not want to be on the sidelines when he is available. Playing so little does not appear to be doing Tierney many favors, and that may be something he really keeps in mind in the final weeks of the transfer window. Emma Hayes reacts to Jurriën Timber display in Arsenal win. Emma Hayes has suggested that Jurriën Timber looks to be a great signing for Arsenal after he made his competitive debut for the Gunners in the Community Shield. Hayes was speaking on ITV after Mikel Arteta's side clinched the first piece of silverware of the campaign, winning on penalties at Wembley against Manchester City. Of course, few will remember the Community Shield come the end of the season, but it's a potential statement from Arsenal after what happened in the Premier League last term, and it certainly appears that the Gunners have taken another step forward with a number of impressive signings coming in, and one of those is most definitely Jurriën Timber. Timber played at left back, taking on the inverted role Zinchenko played so well last year. The Dutchman took to the role brilliantly, really looking like he understood what Arteta needed from him, and he made one particularly crucial block shortly before being replaced by Kieran Tierney. Certainly, Hayes issued an extremely positive verdict on the 22-year-old's performance as he carried the trophy down the Wembley steps. She said, Yeah, superb, good defender, but equally he was adept at attacking in midfield. He's got the qualities to play the Arteta way. His qualities suit the manager's ideas. I think he is a great signing. Arsenal fans would have known that one of Timber's key attributes is his versatility. He is comfortable playing at right back and centre back, so it appeared that he was providing competition and cover for the likes of Ben White and William Saliba. But he has now proven himself as a left back in the system. Mikel Arteta wants his side to play challenges to not get much tougher than facing Manchester City, and Tamber managed to step up. That is seriously exciting for Arsenal, who just ran out of steam last season. The overall standard of the squad appears to have gone up this summer, and Tamber looks set to play a big role. BBC pounded very impressed with the 25-year-old Arsenal man's attacking play versus Man City. Craig Shakespeare was very impressed with Arsenal defender Ben White's contribution to the team's attacking play. Shakespeare was covering the match for BBC Sport as the domestic season got underway for England's top-flight clubs. It was a cagey first half affair with neither side able to create too many clear-cut chances. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta was without star forward Gabriel Jesus as the Brazilian has had minor surgery. Instead of selecting Edin Ketia in his place, new signing Kai Havertz was deployed as a centre forward. It's not a role Mikel Arteta would ideally be playing him in, especially as he didn't thrive as an out-and-out striker at Chelsea. However, he had the best chance of the first half for Arsenal, but was denied brilliantly by Man City goalkeeper Stefan Ortega. Shakespeare was impressed with Ben White and the work the Arsenal defender did in the build-up. His position is also under threat this season after the signing of Julian Timber. Arteta picked both players on either wing, and the Englishman was the more effective player in possession. Covering the match on BBC 5 Live, Shakespeare said, "It's the first time we have seen Ben White venture forward, and he does it very well. You can see the benefit there of getting him forward and not just playing in straight lines." Ben White was initially signed for £50 million from Brighton as a centre-back. He was also known to play as a defensive midfielder, but Arteta converted him into a fullback last season. White did very well in this position, even impressing a new signing Declan Rice. Shakespeare won't have been the only one impressed with White's contribution to Arsenal's attack. Pundit slams Arsenal star and says playmaker can't hit a barn door. Arsenal fans will not appreciate Jamie O'Hara's assessment of Kai Havertz signing from Chelsea last month. Havertz, along with Declan Rice and Julian Timber, teamed up with the Gunners in a deal worth a whopping £65 million. However, despite his sky-high price tag, O'Hara believes the 24-year-old isn't good enough in front of goal and will eventually let Mikel Arteta down. He said on talkSPORT, "Kai Havertz, Arsenal fans can have their say on this, but he can't hit a barn door. We know what he is going to give you. He is going to give you hold-up play. He is going to work hard, but he is going to let you down when it comes to the crunch, and they have to sort that problem because Jesus is injured. He picks up too many injuries." With the new 23-24 season yet to start, no one knows for sure how Havertz will do in the red colours of Arsenal, O'Hara included. However, judging by his goal-scoring stats while with Chelsea last season, the German international who netted just 7 Premier League goals fell way short of his 11.6 expected goals. It goes without saying that the former Bayer Leverkusen starlet needs to improve in front of goal, but let's not forget that he hasn't been bought in to lead the Gunners line either. The striking issue is another matter. With Gabriel Jesus struggling with injuries, Arteta may well need to look for a new forward further down the line, but that was never going to be Havertz's role. Mikel Arteta explains why Arsenal are signing David Raya. Despite there not being a clearly visible weak spot in the goalkeeping department, the club feels that adding David Raya to the squad will bolster the current team. After the Community Shield triumph, Mikel Arteta explained why there is need for more competition for his current number one at the Emirates Stadium. He said, "Competition here always exists, whoever it is, and that's what Ramsdale has to feel like." The Spaniard continued, "If we don't feel like this, we are not going to get the best out of each player, so we better feel like this and make sure that we all feel like this, me first." Raya is certainly not a player who can be considered as just a backup. Last season, the 27-year-old was one of the best shot stoppers in the league, surpassing Ramsdale on many metrics. Many believe that the England international is bound to lose his number one spot to the current Brentford man, but after his heroics on Sunday, Ramsdale has made a strong case for himself. In the end, the Englishman has made a career out of proving people wrong, and he will certainly be looking forward to doing it again when Raya arrives. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.